Hello animal behavior students. This is a short video to help you navigate our Blackboard site. So I'm going to pop open our Blackboard site and we'll take a look at it a minute. So here's our site. This is for section 903. I also teach 901. It's very, very similar with a little different color scheme. So on the left you see all of our tabs. The announcements are very important. I typically send out an announcement a week or so telling you what's happening in lab. The Begin Here button would be where I would start, and you must have if you're reaching this video. So there are some introductory videos. One of them is navigating this Blackboard site, an introduction to me and to my dog. Those are cute. Other things on the Begin Here button include the lab syllabus and the lab schedule. The syllabus is our contract. You can take a look at that and read that carefully. It has my contact information in it. It has a description and a list of the policies. It also has a link to a document about if you need to be absent for a COVID-related sickness or quarantine of some type and what to do if that's the case. We have a list here of the tentative point distribution for the lab. The lab is a part of this bigger 3-credit class that Dr. Henshaw is teaching, and at the end of the semester I will give him your percent earned in lab, and he will convert that into a bigger single grade in lecture. And some of our policies, the Grand Valley policies and the grievance policies that you might need for the course. The lab schedule is the day-to-day workings of what we'll be doing each week, and this is something you're probably going to be going back to regularly. So this is a description of everything we're doing for each week, or at least the major documents that we'll be using. And so you can see in week 1, we're going to introduce the lab, and we're going to start a project called An Introduction to Studying Behavior, Part 1. You'll see that spring break falls on week 9, and our last week of lab will be the week of April 19 through the 21st. Okay? You can take a look at this schedule more carefully. We'll also see this schedule again embedded in our Blackboard site. The lecture schedule is here as well. This I need to update yet. The way to download and install SPSS is listed here. I want you to do this before classes start, if possible, and also to download and install Excel onto your own laptops. Both of these programs are going to be really useful for animal behavior, so that it's easier for you to work with Excel and SPSS if it's on your laptop. However, if you don't have a laptop, we will have laptops available in lab for you to work with these programs, and they're available on campus. So that's the Begin Here button. The weekly content and assignments button is really where you're going to find everything we're doing each week, and also the place you'll need to be posting your assignments on Blackboard. You'll be turning assignments in on Blackboard. And so you can see that each week there's a short description of what we're doing, and if we click on week 1, for example, this is an introduction week, obviously. We have a document that we'll be using. That's called the Introduction to Studying Behavior. We'll basically be working through that document. This is part 1, so we'll have a second week of this as well. And you'll see an assignment here. The assignment is this week an individual assignment, and it's worth 10 points. And it tells us on the assignment what we need to do. So if I click on the Introduction to the Study of Behavior, part 1, this is essentially our assignment. It takes a couple of clicks to get there. It's on the Google Drive, and so you can make a copy of this so that you can write answers into each table as we work through the assignment. So you'll write answers into table 1 and table 2 and table 3, and then you will turn in this document. It tells you how to turn in the document at the end of the document. Okay. So each week we'll have a list of documents we'll be working with, and assignments, if there are any assignments due that week, and other topics or other things that you might need. And so you can click on each one of these weeks and sort out what we're doing. By the way, we're doing, we'll talk about it later, but we're doing a set of different projects throughout the semester. All right, so the next button is the Lab Teams button, and there are several lab teams here, and I haven't enrolled anyone in the teams yet, so you won't see your name yet, but when you might see your name and you'll know which team you're in. When you're on a team, I don't know if I can get to it. Oh, here we go. I thought I had enrolled you all. So in my first team, I've got Daniel and Kyra and Timothy and Eliza. And when you click on your team, you can do a few things. So you can send an email to your whole team. Obviously, you can also get their phone numbers and have a group chat or a group text as well. You can put files onto this document. You can also make a shared Google folder, which I recommend to store documents. You can use the Collaborate tool, which is this online tool like Zoom that's available through Blackboard. Okay, and I might ask you to post some things on the file exchange, for example, so that I can see them as well. All right, what other buttons do we have here? So there's a statistics and graphing button. This just is a place where I put a lot of materials that that are somewhere else on Blackboard, but also all kind of located here. Different kinds of documents, supplementary tools, documents that you might need for making figures in Excel or downloading Excel, those kinds of things, and also how to do some statistical analysis. The Syllabus and Schedule is simply the same as our Begin Here button. We really don't even need this button. Instructor information, this just has some information about who I am. It doesn't have my office hours here. That's on the syllabus, and also it's on one of these buttons. So if I go to the office hours button, you can see that I have office hours on Wednesdays from 9 to 10:30, and I have virtual hours twice a week. One of those is that same Wednesday time frame, and one is on Mondays. And let's see, COVID-related absence. This is a document worth looking at. If you're not sure, you can come to lab, you have a question. The first thing I would do is I would contact this COVID hotline. The hotline will tell you what you need to do. You can go to lab, you have to stay home, etc., etc. You also need, if you have to stay home, if you have to miss lab, you need to forward me a picture of your self-assessment that says you failed and for that day. And that gives you the documentation for missing lab for that day. And you also want to contact me as soon as you know that you're going to be missing lab, and contact your team as well, right? Because you'll be on a team of 3 or 4 people all semester long. And that might vary a little bit, but for now we're on a team. You can check your grades, send an email. You can go to Blackboard Collaborate. If we have to do something virtually, that's what we'll use, and a few other tools as well. And that's everything, I think, for our Blackboard site. So I can't wait to see you all, and I'm glad you've taken a look at our Blackboard.